It's time to empower your magical self. It's day 22 of the book that we're reading together, the book that I wrote, Empower Your Magical Self with a 1-Month Habit Break, a handbook for reclaiming sovereignty in 30 days. It's a book about helping you find and embrace your sovereignty and take it back from this dastardly world, and doing that internally without messing around with all the outside stuff. Okay. Day 22, calling in backup, i.e. your spirit guides. The 1980s sitcom Mork and Mindy introduced Robin Williams to the world. In his breakout role, he played Mork, the orphan who arrived on Earth via an interplanetary egg. Each episode ended with Mork sitting on the couch repeating like a mantra, "Mork calling Orson, come in, Orson." Then we'd zoom quickly into his mind, where Mork is decked out in his red and silver space gear, standing in a dark room, continuing his chant. Mork calling Orson, come in, Orson. A voice offstage, presumably that of Orson, would then reply to Mork, and the two would have a conversation about the lessons that Mork learned on Earth that week. That's sort of how my relationship with my spirit guides works. Bear with me. My loving, healthy relationship with my spirit guides, and thus with my highest self, is the most important thing in my life. Part of my daily morning ritual is conversing in writing with my spirit guides. I open the dedicated digital journal where I keep our chats and type, "Good morning, beloveds," and then go from there. What I'm planning to do, my energy level, things I'd like to happen, things I'd not like to happen, etc. Then I quiet my mind as much as I can and wait for the replies to emerge. Not like audible voices, but rather a deep knowing that starts to form, an analog photo in developing fluid. When the knowing comes, I start writing. It's startling how often I'm utterly surprised by an idea that presents itself to me in those moments. That's where I get the direction that guides my life. It doesn't bother me when people say, "Leah, that's just part of your brain. It's just you talking to yourself." Why should that matter? It doesn't to me. When I ask my guides for a way to explain our relationship to skeptical people, or to people who are simply curious, they instantly said, "Mork calling Orson." And I laughed out loud at the simplicity. I hadn't thought of that show in years. There is never a time when I can't simply tune into them and feel their guidance and love for me. Except for when I was drinking. It's not that they weren't there. I just temporarily lost my ability to be guided. And that's why I've only become acquainted with them in the last few years, since my spiritual rebirth, after I hit rock bottom. I don't think I went more than 2 consecutive days without drinking for 20 years or more. I was closing myself off to guidance I needed without even knowing it. So this is what I'm asking you to do. Stay open to forces that you may not even be aware of right now. You might be amazed at what comes to your aid once your mind is clear of the habit you're working with. Think of it this way. What if everything that is, ever has been, and ever will be, was created in one instant? That includes your soul. And part of your soul's creation included the creation of energy that would accompany your soul throughout all time and space, witnessing and assisting your soul wherever it could. The only caveat being that your soul had to be open to the help, had to invite it in, kind of like a vampire, but in a good way. What if that's how it really is? And that energy that came into being to assist your soul is what I'm calling spirit guides. How would that change your life, if it were true? If the result would be beneficial, why not act as if it's true? Even just as an experiment for the next week. Here's your prompt. Do you have a relationship with your spirit guides? And if you don't feel comfortable using that term, use higher self or angels or anything that works for you. If you do, how can you utilize it in your habit break project? If you don't, act as if you do for a day, just a day, and see how it feels. Maybe that's how you'll come to know your own guides. That's it. See you tomorrow. We'll be back to talk about tarot cards.